Hi everybody. We're going to work today on stream of consciousness writing. The prompt that I'm going to use today is stop listening to my inner critic. I told everybody if you were on the Frosted Design Facebook page, you would have got a heads up of what to do. To take your textbook paper, tear it, collage it, however you want to. I use the Helmer's decoupage glue to put my textbook paper on just a regular piece of copy paper, nothing fancy. I want it thin so that when I cut it out, it's not real thick and heavy on my journaling page. Then I took gesso, Faber Castel gesso that you can get in the store, and spread it out with just a little foam brush, and I let it dry thoroughly. And the reason I let it dry really good is because I'm going to come back and write on top of it. And you never want to write with any of your pens, and this is a Pigma Sensei by Sakura that you can get from the Frosted Design store. But you never want to write directly on anything that's wet or has any moisture to it, because it will seep into the tip of your pen and it will ruin your pen. So what we're going to do is we're going to just keep writing. We're going to start and we're going to fill this whole page up with writing, okay? And you want to continue this writing even when you can't think of anything to say. If you can't think of anything to say, then just write, stop listening to my inner critic, stop listening to my inner critic, over and over again until your writing process begins to flow again. And don't worry about spelling, punctuation, grammar, or making sense. Just let the writing flow. Wow, that came out a lot easier than I thought it would. So tell your inner critic to shut up, sit down, stop listening to it, whatever you want to write. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cut this out, and then we're going to glue it onto our journaling page. We're going to make a shape of a head, or I mean it could be anything. You can make it a monster, whether it's real or cartoon. Some people are afraid of clowns. Whatever you think your inner critic might look like. And for some people, like myself, mine's going to look more like a real person, but kind of a cartoony. This is going to be my inner critic. And what this is supposed to do is give you an image of what your inner critic looks like. And like I said before, and many times, this does not have to be perfect. I'm not even going to draw it in pencil first. I'm going to go straight shot with pen. It doesn't matter if he's ugly or wonky looking. This is your little monster that lives inside your head, so it doesn't matter what it looks like. Just go with the flow and just, you know, play with it. Who knows? Your inner critic might reveal itself. So once we have this guy all drawn out, or whatever it is, whatever image that you choose to do, okay, so as you can see, nothing fancy. This is my evil little bald-headed inner critic. Now we're going to cut it out, and then we're going to glue it on. The page that I have prepped for him is under the Going Dotty tutorial, where I just took stencils and gelatos, created my background. But this time, instead of leaving the textures raised, I smoothed it down by after I got everything on there. I took my wet finger and then I just did this. Okay, you notice I didn't worry about the inside because I knew he was going to go there. So when you create your background, really focus on your edges, but make sure you bring it in enough so that if you had a certain area that you cut out, that it would be, you know, all covered. Another thing that you might notice is I have this paper. This is part of my towels that I use when I blot up inks and paints. And all I did was tear off a strip, and then I just glued it down here, okay? Because this is kind of a messy technique, I wanted to make sure I didn't have anything, because I really liked my previous page, and I wanted to make sure it didn't get any watery colors seeping through the book. Leave this side blank. Don't put anything on there because the following Sunday I'm going to have something that's going to go along with the inner critic, but it's going to be on this page, okay? And they need to be together. So make sure that you've dedicated 2 pages for this. So all I'm going to do now is just glue on this guy, and I'm going to use my Helmer's decoupage glue. Okay, so I have my inner critic all glued down using the Helmer decoupage and craft paste, and I have my background created with gelatos and 2 stencils. It's nice and smooth so that when I write on it my pen won't bump or anything. And yeah, we're going to write, and you can do this any way you want to. You can write straight across if you want to. What I'm going to do is write right over my inner critic now all sorts of good things about my writing. So this is why I said don't worry so much about what you write. If it's really negative, we're going to cover it up. Slowly but surely, layer by layer, we're going to cover that inner critic up. So I have now collaged down or glued down my inner critic. I took a different size pen. The first time around when I drew him and did the first set of words, I used the 10, and then the second time around I used the 6. I like the variation in the size of the letters. I think that turned out real well. This is a water pen. These are the ones that we sell in the store. All you have to do is fill your reservoir up with water, and you just squeeze and you'll get a little bit of water that will come through the brush, and then your gelatos are just like watercolor, okay? I really like these because having a cup of water on your desk sometimes is not a good thing to have. Also, if you ever travel and you like to take your sketch journal with you when you travel, these are really great to have. You don't have to bring water with you and, you know, all the other things. So this is a really good investment to have. Okay, so my inner critic is completed. I did my stream of consciousness journaling on it. I got it all out. I told it what I thought about it. And then I told it that I was letting it go. I was not going to hold on to him anymore. And then I have this to look back on so that if I feel that inner critic has snuck back into my life, I can come back here and I can remember what I wrote and remember that I buried him. So if you hear a voice within you say you cannot paint, then by all means paint, and that voice will be silenced. And that quote is by Vincent van Gogh. So silence that inner critic. Have fun with it. Just let it flow. See what happens. We hope you post your pages over on Frosted Designs blog. You do not have to tell us what the journaling said by all means. That can stay hidden. Just do the page and, you know, see if it helps you any. See if you find your inner critic and bring them out so that we can then shut them up. Hope you have a great day. Merry Christmas, everybody. Bye-bye.